with the interesting thing that happened at Perfect Acres Inc. Let's put Oreo Jr. back here and let's get started with our story. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to frantically and longingly look for someone? Just like with oh, where are you? Where are you? Where have you been my whole life type energy? Have you ever wondered that, Scott?
Sure.
Okay, well, have you ever wondered? We're about to see what it looks like. This chapter is called Monkey Tales.
Uh,
Cute little picture. Puck had no sooner left Perfecta than the book people began slipping back into their rooms to await the arrival of the author in charge. Soon they had all disappeared behind closed doors. Then, somewhat frighteningly, the doors themselves began to disappear as a sea of mist rose from the floor and began to swirl down the corridor. Puck! Perfecta called out softly, but Puck didn't answer. He must have been far ahead already, probably thinking she was right behind him. Still, he shouldn't have been so careless, she thought indignantly. The mist was advancing steadily and soon began to creep around Perfecta's ankles. Girls like a club, like a smoke machine in a club. She snatched off her covers and was relieved to be looking down at her old familiar fuzzy slippers and striped pajamas legs. Then, thoroughly shaken as even these began to disappear in the whirling mist, she began to run like Forrest Gump. On and on she ran for minutes, for hours. And while she was running, scared as she was, she couldn't help but think she didn't know if she had learned the secret of the old house. Girl. So many things, so many strange things had happened, all of them tumbling on top of one another in her mind and flowing together like raindrops pouring down a window. Okay, metaphor. Okay, metaphor. Was Mr. Dumpty the secret? Or was it the author in charge? Or had it to do with Uncle My or Puck or Mr. Snoot and the aunties or even Perfecta herself? Or, or were they just all pieces of one big secret? Pieces that the old house was just giving out bit by bit because, girl, we can't let go that this house got some secrets. Yes, that must be it. But what good was this discovery if she could never reach the end of the corridor and stay lost in the mist forever? And now it had reached her pajamas pockets, girl. It's starting to get high. She began to shiver as she ran, on and on and on. And then all at once, the door rose in front of her so suddenly that she almost smacked into it. When she burst through it, she was back into the familiar stairwell. Down and down the steps she fled, round and round, faster and faster, until she finally stumbled off the last step and hurtled into the beautiful, brightly lit living room. And how wonderful to see no more mist, no one shred. But there was also no one there, not a chair. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That's a little bit of Luther. A house is not a home. Not anyone, especially not Puck. Then she heard a familiar voice. Great whiskers, Purr. I'm glad you finally got here. I'm sorry I let go of you. I really am. He sounded so repentant, Perfecta felt she had to forgive him. Okay, girl, you had lost him. You was running around in the fog, screaming, crying, just tearing your hair out. And now he over there like, girl, please forgive me. Played a little Barry White. He was like, I forgive you, Puck. Still, why was he hiding from her? And then she remembered his covers of the night, of course. Must you still wear your cover, Puck? I don't know where you are. I don't have on my covers. I'm right over here, replied Puck. But where? Now Perfecta felt really cross. She had been badly frightened and was in no mood for games and teasing. In the zoo, said Puck's voice, sounding impatient. Can't you see me? When Perfecta finally saw what Perfecta finally saw was a picture of Puck, complete with straw-colored curls and bright blue eyes, right on the wallpaper where she was certain there had been no picture of him before. She started towards it, then hesitated. Come on, Puck's voice commanded. I'm waiting for you. Now, let's just stop right here. Let's just freeze frame because I wonder if anybody else is thinking this with me. Like, sir, you're in a wall. Why would you expect me to just like naturally just think, oh, he's probably in the wall? Why would I think that? Naturally. Is anybody else thinking that? Like, sir?
Well, maybe from his perspective, he doesn't feel like he's in a wall or in a picture.
He know he walked in that wall. Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay, back to the story. We had to just freeze. We had to take a little pause for the calls. Because, sir, you acting like this is an everyday occurrence. It's not. Okay, let's back to what we was doing. Cautiously, Perfecta approached the wallpaper. It was some kind of trick, she thought. Closer and closer she went, until finally her nose was practically up against the wall. Then, though she was never quite sure how it happened because she never saw Puck move, she felt his hand grasp hers and pull her right through the wall.
Yeah, there you go.
Told you he went through the wall.
Maybe it looks like a door to him.
Puck needs to go on down to my eye doctor and get them eyes checked in. When she looked back, she saw that the living room had now become the picture. And there was the real Puck standing right in front of her. How he get through the wall, though?
I don't know, but to him, she was in the picture, not him.
Scott, are you using your imagination?
I am.
Period. There was no question either that they were in a real zoo. Okay, period. Animals roamed about in cages and pens. Seals splashed in the pools. Animals and birds growled and grunted and chirped, to mention just a few of the proofs. A final proof was the unmistakable and enchanting smell of zoo. Enchanting smell of zoo. The mixture of fur and hay and dust and leftover bits of hot dogs baked in the trash bins under a hot sun is an enchanting smell of the zoo. Interesting interpretation. Okay.
She missed the animal poop.
Period. We were at a zoo like a couple of months ago, and I wouldn't call it enchanting, but hey, everybody see things different. There's 31 flavors at Baskin Robbins. There's something for everybody. A wonderful smell like this could certainly never have come from mere wallpaper. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. A wonderful smell like this, a wonderful smell like the zoo. Period. Somebody make that into a candle. So, of course, it had to be a real zoo. And it was very likely something else as well. An other piece of the secret of the old house girl, let go of these secrets now. Would Mr. Snoop be a part of this piece as well? When last seen, he was tucked away neatly in his red and white striped pajamas under the firm control of the no-nonsense author in charge. Okay, the author in charge probably still using his enhanced words with Mr. Snoop. On the other hand, Perfecta had also thought him safely asleep across the street just before he appeared in the attic. Of course, the attic was shadowy and gloomy, and the kind of place in which one could expect Mr. Snoop to be sulking about, while the zoo was bright and cheerful. Or was it? Okay, girl. It was a lovely sunny day, so shouldn't there be some people around? More especially, shouldn't there be some children about? Especially, except for the animals, it all seemed so deserted, like the attic corridor. But Perfecta curled her fingers up into a tight, determined ball, took a deep breath, and refused to think about it. We're going to end it there. This is a long chapter, and I want to break it up so it's not too long. So, you want me to keep going, Scott?
Yeah, that seems short.
Okay, I don't want to disappoint my fans. Okay, I'll keep going. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep going a little bit there. She was not going to let an absent Mr. Snoop spoil her trip to a real live zoo.
Yeah.
She managed a perky smile at Puck. Where will we go first? Puck rewarded her with a comical grin. Uncle Mai, who abandoned us, always says that the place to begin almost anything is at the beginning. And that at the zoo, there's nothing so beginning as the monkeys. I don't know. Does anybody else feel like the beginning is where you pay admissions? That's the beginning for me.
Well, they're already inside the zoo, though.
I still don't think the monkeys in the beginning.
The zoo we went to, the monkeys were in the beginning.
I feel like the birds are in the beginning. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Okay, don't let me distract us. We got to keep going with our imagination. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Okay. Perfecta was in total agreement with this. I guess, and Scott is too, so I guess I'm wrong. So they started off for the monkey cages. They had not gone very far, however, when she came to a sharp stop, pulled out her cover of the night and threw it over her shoulders. Her heart felt as if it had dropped down into her toes. She hadn't seen Mr. Snoop, but she did see a group of people who might be his representatives and therefore equally dangerous. Uh-oh, girl, them aunties out here are what? Your covers of the night, she cried. Quick, Puck, put it on. Puck knew better than to ask questions before acting. He had his own cover on instantly, although not before Perfecta had snatched his hand. She had no intention of losing him again, girl, because unbreak her heart. He had unbreak her heart when she found him. What is it? What's wrong? Puck asked. Do you see those men over there? Perfecta's voice quivered. Puck could hardly miss seeing the 5 curious gentlemen who had stopped to have a conference right in the middle of the path ahead. They all had large, round, pasty faces, somewhat like the top of mushrooms. And in fact, they walked somewhat as one would expect mushrooms to walk. They walking like the cone heads. Y'all ever seen that movie in the 90s, the cone heads? Remember? They ain't had no butt cracks. They walking like that. Mushrooms don't have butt cracks.
Okay, interesting.
That's where my imagination leads me, to mushrooms and cone heads.
Wasn't there, can't remember his name, one of the old dudes in Super Mario World, wasn't he a mushroom guy?
Oh, Toadie or Toad. Yeah. They was walking funny too, like cone heads. Y'all should check that movie out. It's funny. In tiny, menacing steps, as if both legs were tied together. See, like the cone head, remember they ain't had no booty crack. They wore important-looking, shallow-tailed jackets with giant pink carnations in their buttonholes. In addition, they all wore enormous, thick, wire-rimmed spectacles. Okay, period. They want to see. They want to look studious. Who are they? Asked Puck. Perfector gulped. I think they're the officials that came snooping around the old house for Mr. Snoot. And I suspect they had something to do with the zoo that never got built. I wonder what they're doing now, Puck asked. The officials looked as if they wondered what they were doing themselves. Okay, they just out here collecting a check, but doing no job. Period. They appeared to be terribly nervous, wiping their brows with long, colorful handkerchiefs. Suddenly, one of them dropped down to his knees and began peering on the ground with a magnifying glass the size of a postage stamp. It's like this big. It's like a postage stamp small. Like how you get a? It's like this. It's like that. Okay, you doing something, sir? You checking it out? What on earth are you doing, Puddle? Inquired one of the other officials. It should be clear that Puddle is examining the evidence, Pebbles, returned still another. Thank you, Piffle, said Puddle, looking injured. I have, in fact, just discovered the tracks of a rare roundus squaresaurus. Just making up stuff, sir. On second thought, I believe it must have been a square roundosaurus by the shape of the foot. Most interesting indeed. He looked up and addressed the fourth official. Won't you have a look, Pizzle? Although we all appreciate your efforts in the interest of science, Puddle, said Pizzle, what are we really looking into for Mr. Snoot are more recent animals. Do you think, he added politely, that you might be looking through the wrong end of the glass? Getting paid, not doing any job. Oh dear, replied Puddle in a faded voice. I see on second glance that it is, in fact, only the footprint of a potato bug.
Right.
Well, said the fifth official, drawing himself up importantly, we are going to get to the bottom of this, or my name isn't Filbert Puddle, or Pottle. First, however, we must get rid of all these people who are interfering with our work.
What's that mean?
What work, sir? So we can proceed in an orderly manner. Shoo, he said, waving his arms wildly in the air. I believe, Pottle, said Pibbles, that if you were to wipe off the speck from your spectacles, you will find that we are quite alone. And alone, of course, they were, except for Perfecta and Puck, who were under their covers of the night and therefore invisible. After standing around for several minutes, not knowing quite what to do with themselves, the whole group, Puddle, Peebles, Piffle, Feasel, and Pottle, went on uncertainly as if they were moving through a thick fog, looking with great interest at trees, stumps, lampposts, and trash barrels. The last thing they need to just throw themselves into, period. Okay. Because they sound like they ain't got no job for real. We're going to end it there, y'all. Okay, you know how we end these things. What stood out to you guys? If anything stood out, put it in the comment section that you would like to share, I should say. Scott, what stood out in that half a chapter that we read?
This is just going to go with everybody has interesting names.
Yeah, it's a fun book. It's a crazy book, yeah. Gotta have the bomb names. Perfector and Puddles and Pizzles and all of it. Something I learned is Perfecta, got a flair for the drama, honey. She was over there longing and just giving Titanic, giving near, far, and wherever you are. Perfecta got a flair for the dramatic, honey, because the way she was looking for Puck, honey, she was looking for Puck in broad daylight with a flashlight, honey. Okay, Perfecta is dramatic, baby. Okay, it's giving mommy dearest. Okay, okay, that's what I got thus far.
All right.
Okay, guys. Well, we're going to end this here. But of course, tomorrow we'll be back. Got our Sunday Fun Day school, and we'll finish this chapter in the interesting thing that happened at Perfect Acres Inc. But until then, we're going to bid you guys adieu. So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed your time hanging with us. As always, we enjoy having you guys here. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, shorts, lives, all that fun stuff. And as always, from wherever we are, even just wading through the fog, just being very dramatic, looking for our friend, while we are yet invisible under the covers instead of going home and getting into bed because it's late. To wherever you guys are, okay, peace, love, and happiness, guys. Get them a rinky dinky dink. We'll see